you see, here's the deal. That's what's wrong with politics is that people should be able to run that or do tell how they feel, and if they only end up with one term, that should be okay
Yeah.
because they can get some things done. But that
Yeah, go
doesn't
ahead.
work that way. So
Can I start? We're going to call this meeting to order. Don't we have to have a second? Don't be mad. I forgot how to do this.
oh,
It's
you
been a while.
you just call it to
Second.
order. You're,
Second, call to order.
Call to order, done.
Whew. And we would normally do the invocation. Forrest isn't here today.
I can
Would
do
you-
that if
would
you'd
you
like
do
me
that
to
for
do
us,
that.
Ed?
I've never
Before.
done one before, but
I'm
I'll be
so
glad to
excited.
do it now.
Let's stand.
Okay. Lord, we thank you for gathering us. We ask you to be with us and give us wisdom and guidance on all the things that are before us. Help us to represent the people of this community well. These things we pray in your name. Amen.
Amen. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God, I almost sat on the floor.
It never gets old. Public comment, anyone?
I think he was an Auburn fan, not an Auburn.
And then let's move to approval of minutes. Did everybody have a chance to look over those?
Yes,
I move to approval.
I'll move to approve the
I
minutes.
second.
Brilliant. Let's get into it. Crab meetings, items, and reports. So, a lot of the maps is Bill, and he's excused today. And I know that a lot of our items have taken a back seat as we move into 2020. Does anyone have any information on maps, or is that we're sort of?
Yes.
No,
Let's talk about the
map.
app.
Let's talk
The
about it, because
maps.
Bill, I have nothing on the map. You have anything on the
No.
map? Okay.
Okay. So let's talk about the app, Becky.
We're in the same place we were, waiting for the town to
Shift the rights, right?
yeah, all they have to do is, because I am not an employee of the town of Fort Myers Beach, Apple will not allow me to bring live, even with authority, the app. Therefore, someone from the town just needs to bring it live. We told them I'd help them. It's 15 minutes. And we're still waiting.
Okay.
Alrighty?
It's in like app purgatory then.
And that's one thing that I wanted to talk about today. I know we're an advisory committee, but sometimes we need to do something differently. This app has been hanging, and it's been at least 3 or 4 months since the mayor applauded your work, Becky, of an example of how these committees are supposed to operate, and all the praises, and here we are 4 to 6 months later, nothing's happening or happened. I don't know what we do as an advisory committee, but I think the chair might want to consider advising the town that they need to either fish or cut bait.
Is this as much on the town side, or is this on the Apple side?
Percent on the town side.
Okay, all right.
Which she did.
Because it goes to our relevance. I
Right.
mean, we all know what this committee accomplishes. And that's something that was actually accomplished, well, at least on this side. And so if the powers that be don't want it, don't like it, want a different version, then they should say so.
I think we had a similar conversation at our last meeting when we were talking about branding and being frustrated about spinning wheels, and just because a lot of times in these meetings we're discussing something that someone else is discussing because the communication between isn't there. But that's a whole heavy conversation too, because I'll definitely bring it up and maybe send an email to the town about giving us a more direct focus. I think that would help. I think I mentioned even asking like, hey, let's pick one of these things and let it be our 2020 goal.
And all that's fine, but my only position now is the app is something that's concrete and there and was basically lauded by at least the mayor. And so either it is implemented or a decision is made to get rid of it. I think it's insulting for, at least for you, Becky, to go through all that and then it just kind of languishes. So that's my only point. To your
I
point,
agree
whatever
with
else
you.
is fine with me.
I agree with you. That was we've sort of said this in our last meeting, that it is,
Yeah, I'm trying to be very, coming in on the high side with this one. But it's quite frustrating and disappointing. I was very excited, spent a lot of time on this, and yeah, this is the meeting when I had decided to just say, it is what it is, and, the committee is, we're trying very, very hard to do good things for the community. And I really wish that we were able to get one across the finish line.
am I allowed to send an email discussing this with the town, with the council, and include them, or do I send it to you and then you send it to them about both this app and maybe our frustrations and maybe being directive with us in the future? Or what was your quote? Fish or throw out the bait?
Fish or cut bait, yep.
Fish or cut bait.
You absolutely can. You can send an email. And you can also come to the council meetings. I know that there is, I don't remember if it's a spot on the MMP or the actual council meeting. I'll have to get with Amy.
There is actually a regular council agenda placement for advisory committee reports.
Okay.
That you can, through the liaison, generate a report, and then many times a representative from that particular advisory board will then show up at that council meeting and talk about what's in the report, and certainly there's no reason why you couldn't do that.
Obviously, showing up bears a sense of weight that an email doesn't do. So let me give that some thought of what I think would be, if that's okay with you guys, what would be more impactful?
Either.
Both and, send an email and show up.
Ah.
Or showing up. If you're going to choose one or the other, I'd say showing up. With the report you can put in front of them.
Oh, I agree. I just think there's a sense of, if I show up here, if someone shows up here and says, you guys aren't doing anything, that's relatively accusatory, and I want to
I
be
don't know if
heard.
it's appropriate, but maybe you just talk to Roger. I mean, he's in charge.
Yeah,
And then,
maybe.
you know,
Start there. Roger's great. I've talked to him about all kinds of things. I could talk to him first.
My information had been given to several news bureaus. I think it was it Channel, not Wank, Channel 7 News or whatever, as well as Beach Talk and one of the newspapers, The Observer. And I just want to let people know that I've advised that it's in. Just an FYI, I've been contacted in the last couple of days, but go any further with it, but I didn't want to make it, I didn't want to feel bad in that I was holding something up or that I had not.
We know you have.
I know, and I appreciate that, and I apologize for my frustration.
So I have a little question that's in line with this, is that our first few meetings that I was here, we had representation from the town council, but we haven't had for the last two meetings. Is there a reason why we don't have a town council member with us anymore,
Well,
or?
Oh, you can answer, sorry.
I'm
Is that
not
a voluntary thing that they were doing, or?
Oh, it's probably
There are-
scheduling.
Yeah,
okay.
And
I'm not aware of why Joanne hasn't shown up. She may
Joanne's
be
our official
busy.
liaison,
She
right?
is,
Yeah.
correct.
But I believe she only comes if there's something that the town is she's been tasked by the council, you need to go direct CRAB to do this, which goes into probably one of the discussions we have. We've been directed to do things, Becky did it all, and now nothing's happening. So we either need a new liaison or a new directive.
Or I'm wondering if you talk to Joanne as well as Roger and just say, hey, Joanne, if this doesn't go any further with Roger, what can you do to help make this happen? Because you've been in on this, you know the work that's been done. I don't know, it's just a thought there.
Yeah.
Because she could be an advocate, so.
Yeah, for sure. I think she, is and has been for us, but government, there's only so much each person can do.
Right, yeah.
So I will maybe prepare something, get some information, maybe from Joanne, from Roger, and then either drop a letter or something for me to come and share if it works in my schedule. I would love to come and talk, but it's a whole.
Oh, so I remember that in our last meeting, we talked about the fact that town's trying to hire somebody that would handle all the tech stuff and the website and other things. Did the town hire somebody, or are they still looking?
I mean, I think they're still in.
Are we talking about for the PIO or
Well,
like
we had
the
thought
R-
that if they hired somebody, that it sounded like they were trying to find somebody that was going to handle all the tech and the information stuff, and that if that person got hired, then they would be the natural person to
Correct.
be the one to sign on, and that hasn't happened
I'm
yet.
not aware that
Okay.
anyone has been hired.
All right.
All right.
Like a Methodist church.
Not to prolong the subject, or is there anything else on this, either the app or,
No, but we
This
want, I think all
conversation.
of us want to acknowledge the work that has been done, and thank you for the work that's been done, because,
and we share your frustrations as well.
yes, we want to see it up and running and in the hands of our visitors and locals, so.
Thank you for bringing it up. Okay, well, let's move on with probably a really similar conversation about brochures. That's a Bill Veach discussion, again, that has kind of been halted because, we've been. And the same thing with statues and murals. They're all
Yes,
ideas.
but on murals, because we have the town attorney here unofficially, is there any movement on the amendment or whatever to the sign ordinance?
Yes.
Cool.
Are you permitted to give us an update?
I'm working on it to get it on the agenda for Monday, for first reading.
Fantastic,
It'll-
thank you.
It'll have to, because it is an ordinance that involves potentially development land or sign regulations, it will have to refer to, excuse me, it'll have to be referred to the LPA for public hearing as well. So it'll take at least, a little bit longer to get adopted just because of the notice and public hearing requirements for those types of regulations.
Thank you.
If you had to it'll be a first reading at the council, because I don't know, I've never, and then will it go to the LPA after that, or will it have several more drafts before it goes to the LPA?
Generally speaking, what staff tries to do is to put it before the LPA first, and then first and second reading before the town council.
Okay.
But I did indicate at the last council meeting to the town council that I would have a draft of it for them to look at on Monday. So I'm working on that together with another unrelated ordinance that I also said that I would forward to them. So they'll have something to look at.
Cool. Thank you.
Can I ask
Yeah.
just a little bit to the brochures? And
Yeah.
the reason I say that is because Bill had actually sent me months ago
I remember.
I had added that in the app, because it had additional information in it, and it was beautiful. It is beautiful. He did a lovely job with it. And I'd like to ask, because they were talking about, like an electronic, signage or something by the seating areas where the buses go and whatever, because there didn't seem to be a huge interest in doing a printable brochure. The brochure's concept was kind of to consolidate all these brochures that are all over the place into one, so we didn't have wasting paper all over the place. And I'd just like to ask what's going on, because there was first a feeling that they didn't want the paper, and then the second one was, do we put it on some kind of electronic signage that was going by the bus stop areas for our visitors to the island?
The last thing that I remember is that Joanne, they were kind of waiting on information because we don't own the bus stop. It's county property. And whether we're allowed, and if we would basically have to pay for the space. So I think it was another thing where we're sort of on hold on what needing to be directed by council, whether to move forward with ideas or information of what that would cost, because we still don't know if the bus stops are approval. I love the idea of electronic. People like, especially young people, they're going to want to swipe through and see, and it's a way to educate people. Plus, it saves paper. It's environmental, but I think the only other thing we could do is think of different places that it could go other than a bus stop, and then present that idea to council. If you guys had any ideas of a different location. I think I'm right on that. Am I right on that, Christy? Is that where we're at?
Yeah, there hasn't been anything decided.
Okay, because we don't own it. So other than us coming up with a new idea for them to discuss, we're at a stalemate.
And again, I think that goes back to, possibly going to council and asking them what they would like you to get done in 2020. Okay, because we can have all of these items on here and we can talk about them every time we come here. But the bottom line is, if council doesn't direct CRAB to do something and get it done, we're going to keep spinning
Yeah.
our wheels here.
I feel like we've asked that too.
So,
every meeting.
there's a lot going on within the town. So, some of these things may come up in meetings and, it may go to the back burner, till the next 6 meetings. So it's one of those things that I feel like if you come to the meeting, let's look at your schedule, determine which one you can come to.
Okay.
And then directly ask the council. As we all know, there's an election coming up in March, so some things may change.
Yeah.
But, I think, I've only been here for a little while as a liaison, and I feel like a lot of these items, from the get-go, they've pretty much stayed the same. And I don't really know where they started, if it was something that council, 3 years ago said to work on. I don't have an idea on that. I don't know where these things came from, but I do know that what transpired 3 or 4 years ago is changing now. So I don't know if like the map idea came up, for some reason, is let's put some, something out there, we can put some maps in, and now we're doing something different. So I do feel like it's best that you go to council and really say, listen, we've been working on the map and the brochures and the statues and the murals and we kind of know about the murals. We've kind of got to wait for the sign ordinance. But even the War Memorial, I've talked to Chelsea about that. I know that it's moving. I'm just not quite sure it's in with the whole redesign of the Bay Oaks, the entrance,
Yeah.
all of those things. So it's a huge moving part. I just don't know how quickly these things are moving. So I really feel, I agree that, I liked when you had said in the 2 meetings ago about, let's get something that council says, let's get this done in 2020 and let's do it. And they may have something or not. I really don't know.
Yeah, well, because we've all got things that are important to us that we got to do, so.
Well, I'll make a motion. Can I make a motion, or she has to make a motion?
He can
Oh,
make a motion.
Anybody in this group can make a motion.
I make a motion that the chair approach the town council to inquire as to what they would wish us to work on in 2020.
I'll second that.
What our whole next meeting is about.
So say all in favor.
Oh, all in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed.
I'm a great chair.
It's okay, that's all right, we're having.
What am I supposed to say next?
All opposed.
All opposed?
Okay.
He's opposed, he looks opposed. I'm just kidding. Listen, it's been a really long month for me. Okay,
So let me throw something out there, as we're trying to figure out the map, the app, and the brochures. How much conversation have we had with the Chamber of Commerce? Because they also have some of those kind of things that they regularly update and put out there through the chamber, through all the businesses that the chamber represents. Are we duplicating, not with the app? The app, I think, is going to be a unique standalone. But we maybe spend a lot of time on the map and the brochures when we could partner with the chamber and not, and they may already have those kind of things regularly updated, and we
Yeah,
may
that's
be
sure.
duplicating efforts if we haven't checked with them.
That would have to be totally council directed.
directive, yeah, like, we can't just go ask.
Okay,
So, I will say, I think that, I know that this is 6 things, but really it feels like 2. Because if it were like, in my mind, the app and the brochures and the map, that's one thing, kind of, because you've inputted those things. And also, it's a really cool idea to have like swipey things, but it's also a huge expense that then we end up paying for as taxpayers when we already have an app that does the same thing. So maybe we just stick stickers everywhere that say, download our app, because it's all the same, and everything idea that we have would hopefully, the point of being incorporated is to help the residents and save the taxpayers money. So that's sort of my opinion on that. We've already sort of incorporated that. And then statues and murals and war memorials, that's all art. That's all a representation of our community put out there. But again, I think everything, I think here we are in the same position, and I think Norbert is right. We need directive, so I'm going to go get it, or we're not going to meet, in my opinion. So, like, why, it's a,
it does get us out of traffic for an hour or 2.
Maybe then it would be appropriate, and this, again, the driver here is guidance from council, but maybe we should at least change the agenda. Art and information, there's 2 different categories, and all
Yeah.
this stuff could fall into it.
yeah. Well, hopefully too, maybe either our agenda for next month is split into just 2 categories and we discuss that, or hopefully our agenda for next month is what is our directive, and we've got some sort of information.
Isn't it conceivable that you go to the town council and with some of the other new projects that are happening in the city, that they might say, hey, listen, we're glad you're working on these things, but here's a couple new things. I mean, they might actually have something new they want us to work with.
Maybe.
Or at least maybe we'll hear some more about the branding that we gave contribution to and find out where that stands and stuff like that.
There is a branding meeting, just to update you guys on that. There is a full town branding meeting tomorrow that everyone's welcome to come to. It starts at 2:30. And I believe the company is receiving kind of how they got information from us. It's just open for the whole entire town, so everyone feels they have a voice before they present something to council. Did I get that right, Christy? Yeah. Okay.
That'll be in this room.
That'll be
No.
No, it's at Bay
At Bay
Oaks.
Oaks.
at Bay Oaks tomorrow at 2:30, if anybody would like to go. I did share all of our stuff to them. I had a conference call with them since that was, and they're really wonderful people, really, really nice. So, anyway, We're kind of a mush of our agenda because we're discussing items. We're also discussing our agenda for the next meeting. So we are almost done because I don't want to waste anybody's time. With that being said, I know it's not necessarily the correct order. Is there anything else anyone would like to discuss?
Yeah, I would, and that is, should the app go live, I really think that we need for the town to consider. There'll probably be some questions or suggestions for changes, or people may want additions, and obviously you're not going to plan to do everything because you can't. Who will handle that going forward?
I think,
Because that's going to be very, very important.
Yeah, I would have to say I would have hoped that the PIO would be the person that would take care of those things. And unfortunately, if it's not in my department, I don't know what's going on with the hiring process. So, I can't tell you where they are on the hiring of the PIO at this point, so I don't know.
I totally understand that, but I think it should be in the minutes, and I think it needs to be a question we've been asking for quite a while, because it could be a concern.
Gotcha.
anyone else have?
Just a point of information, the library is having its book sale on Saturday and Sunday, and this is the one-year anniversary of Leroy's. And so I think it'd be kind of cool if any of y'all have time to just stop by and show your support, just to check in on them and say. We had an incident last week where I think his nickname's Popeye. I think his name Ricky/Popeye, one of our homeless guys, was observed going by in our church, and he was shouting out loud, if I had a gun, I'd shoot myself. And so we had to call, my layperson called that in, and then the word got to the library, and they're like, oh my God, it's a year after, and now we've got somebody else threatening stuff. Well, Popeye apparently he was just spouting off. He's not a violent guy, but so things are heightened. So I think just anything we can do to show them some support and be aware that this is the one-year anniversary.
Yeah.
So just thought I'd
That's
throw
great.
that out there.
Saturday and Sunday at the library. All
I don't
right.
have anything, thank you.
Becky, anything else? I know we discussed agenda for next meeting already. Is there anything else on that, or should we skip over it?
One art.
All right.
Sorry, I would like to know, only because I've continued to set up the agenda as the same, because it's been said to leave it the same.
Yeah.
So if it's something you guys want me to change, is that the direction we're going, that we want to just do?
Is it appropriate for, to have it, I guess, tentative, to see if I can get an answer out of council first?
It's up to you. I can create this, the clerk needs it the week before the meeting.
Okay,
So it's not a big deal as long as I know the Tuesday before that I have to get it to the clerk's office.
okay.
So we
So,
can wait and see.
In my opinion, if that's okay with everyone else, and it's okay with you, and you're very wonderful, thank you for, trying to do your best to direct us. I would wait, let's see if I can get something before an agenda is set,
That's fine.
so you're not wasting your time making a.
No,
useless
that's
agenda.
fine. And I don't usually bring my council stuff with me, but since unofficially you're sitting here. Monday's a council meeting,
Tuesday.
Tuesday's a council meeting, and then when's the next one? I'm totally not good with knowing when the council meetings are, unless I have
Give me a
something
moment.
on there. Sorry.
Are you talking to schedule with me?
Yeah. I'm trying to, because I know that. I mean, what are you looking like for the 21st? Are you out?
21st of January,
Mm-hmm.
I am here. What day is that?
Tuesday?
and possibly make that work. Let me be honest. I don't
Okay.
run my own schedule, so I have to talk to my manager.
Okay.
But I don't foresee it being a problem. What
Okay.
time is the meeting?
9,
AM?
correct.
So that's better for me, actually. I mean, I am a morning person, so like it's not, but it is.
Yeah.
Bring coffee first.
I'm gonna bring a gallon jug of coffee. Gung, gung, gung.
And then we're probably looking at the, see, 15th is an M&P, so we're probably looking at the 4th? Wish I had mine. Sorry.
Or our next meeting?
The next council meeting's Monday, the 3rd, February the 3rd.
Oh, it's on Monday, okay.
And the reason why next week's meeting is on Tuesdays because of MLK.
I was gonna say, that might be the best for me. Mondays are actually really hard for me, so it might have all be kismet. But if not, Monday the 3rd, you said?
We had a sidebar. No, we didn't.
Some of your vernacular is foreign to me, so
Oh,
you said
wait.
I'm too old.
What did I say?
Kismet, your whole kismet thing.
Kismet,
Yeah.
it's meant to be. If it's the second Tuesday again of the month, that would be February 11th.
Correct.
And I believe Christy will keep us all posted. Maybe once I meet with council, if there's anything back, we can send out some sort of email to everyone, if need be, before the meeting. you know.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and add you to the agenda.
Tuesday, the
It's
21st.
easier to just say that something came up than it is to
Add me last minute.
at the very last
Yeah.
minute. So I just asked.
Honestly, I'll know if it's an absolutely no-go by the end of the evening and
Okay.
send you an email,
Okay,
a yes or no. So
okay,
no, no worries about, I just have to touch base,
Okay.
obviously, with Summer, when she manages my
Okay.
schedule, so.
okay.
Manages my life. Okay, without further ado, can I move to adjourn this meeting? Is that allowed?
You can move, one of us.
Is that
will
okay?
Second it.
Second, is that okay with you two?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah? Am I the most pro chair you've ever met?
You got to keep going and say, then all in favor?
Hey, I'm working on it.
I
All in
know, get there,
favor?
get there. Yes,
Aye.
aye.
Anyone opposed? Great.
His phone.
See you guys next time.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I usually put this thing in.
Somebody show him how to do the volume control. So on the side, it should do